You know, most people spend their whole lives waiting for something big to happen, some miracle, some sign from above, before they believe that God is really present. But the truth is, God isn't just in the supernatural moments. He's in the small ones we overlook every single day. He's in the sunrise you barely noticed because you were too busy rushing. He's in the breath you just took. He's in the smile of a stranger, in the lesson hidden inside your frustration, in the quiet moments when nobody's watching. The problem isn't that God is absent. The problem is that sometimes our minds are too distracted, too worried, too angry to see Him. When you train your mind to see God in everything, life doesn't change, your vision does. And once your vision changes, everything else follows. You stop waking up thinking, "Here we go again." And you start saying, "Thank you for another chance." You stop seeing interruptions as obstacles, and you start seeing them as divine appointments. When your plans fall apart, you don't immediately ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, you start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That's when life begins to look different. Not because it got easier, but because you stopped looking at it through the lens of fear and started looking through the lens of faith. You ever notice how kids see the world? They find wonder in dirt, joy in a cardboard box, and excitement in the simplest things. That's not because life is easier for them, it's because their hearts are open. Somewhere along the way, we lose that. We replace wonder with worry, curiosity with control, and faith with fear. And when that happens, we stop seeing God in the little moments. But if you can retrain your mind, if you can slow down, breathe, and say, "God, I know you're here, even if I don't understand what you're doing," that's when everything shifts. Sometimes God shows up in ways we didn't ask for. You prayed for strength and He gave you struggle. You prayed for patience and He gave you delay. You prayed for courage and He gave you a storm. And you thought He was ignoring you when all along He was answering you. Just not in the way you pictured. Seeing God in everything means trusting that even when it hurts, even when it doesn't make sense, He's still working. It's realizing that delays aren't denials, detours aren't dead ends, and what feels like rejection might actually be redirection. And when you live like that, when you start to see God in conversations, in setbacks, in silence, you don't walk around bitter anymore. You don't carry that anger, that stress, that constant need for control. You start to feel peace, not because life is perfect, but because you know you're not going through it alone. You start to say, "God, if you brought me to it, you'll give me what I need to get through it." That kind of mindset doesn't just change your day, it changes your life. So don't wait for the miracle moment. Don't wait for the big breakthrough to believe. Start with right now. Start with what's in front of you. Start with that breath in your lungs, that heartbeat in your chest. Because the moment you train your mind to see God in everything, life will never look the same again. Pain isn't always a signal that something is wrong. It might just be a sign that something deeper is being formed within you. We live in a world that teaches us to escape pain, to run from it, to hide from it. But what if pain isn't punishment? What if it's preparation? What if the very thing you're asking God to take away is the exact thing He's using to build you? See, it's easy to trust when everything is going right, when life is smooth, when prayers are answered the way we want. But real trust, real faith, is forged in fire. It's forged in the hospital rooms, in the heartbreaks, in the losses and disappointments that don't come with explanations. I've learned that some of the greatest blessings in life don't come wrapped in comfort. They come wrapped in struggle. You pray for wisdom, God gives you problems to solve. You pray for humility, God gives you situations that break your pride. You pray for strength and God doesn't hand it to you. He gives you challenges that require it, and in that moment you might feel forgotten. You might feel like God left you, but He didn't leave. He's molding, shaping, preparing you for something greater than you can see right now. There were moments in my life when I could have questioned everything, when I could have sat back and said, "Why me? Why this? Why now?" But I realized something. Suffering doesn't mean you're abandoned, it means you're being refined. Diamonds don't become diamonds without pressure. Gold doesn't become pure without the fire, and purpose doesn't come without pain. It's not about avoiding hardship, it's about learning to see God's hand even in the hardship. Pain has a way of teaching you things comfort never will. You start to see what really matters. You stop taking moments for granted. You value people more. You stop chasing applause and start chasing purpose. And the beautiful thing is, once you've been through something, once you've survived what was meant to break you, You become a voice of hope for someone else. Your scars become someone else's roadmap. Your story becomes their survival guide. That's purpose, and it's born from pain. I know it's not easy. I know there are days when you want to give up, days when it feels like the weight is too heavy. But maybe that weight is building your spiritual muscle. Maybe that valley is teaching you to walk by faith and not by sight. Maybe the thing you're praying for God to remove is the very thing He's using to pull you closer to Him. So instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" start asking, "What is this preparing me for?" Instead of focusing on the pain, focus on the purpose behind it. Instead of seeing it as punishment, see it as preparation. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that what you thought was breaking you was actually building you. The struggle wasn't the end of your story. It was the introduction to the most powerful chapter you'll ever live. Pain may visit your life, but it doesn't have to own your life. It doesn't have to define you. It can refine you. It can redirect you. It can elevate you to a place you never thought you could stand. And when you train your heart to see God in the middle of it, life will never look the same again. Gratitude is one of the most powerful things we have, but it's also one of the most overlooked. Most of us wake up, and the first thing we think about is what's wrong, what we don't have, what didn't work out, who hurt us, or what we're still waiting on. And I get it, life isn't always easy. There are bills to pay, people to care for, problems you never asked for. But gratitude doesn't mean everything is perfect. It simply means you've made a decision to focus on what's still good, what's still working, and who's still in control. When you train your mind to choose gratitude over complaining, you don't deny the pain. You just refuse to give it more power than the promise. You ever notice how easy it is to complain? You hit traffic, you complain. Someone doesn't text you back, you complain. Plans fall through, you complain. But every time we do that, we strengthen the habit of negativity, and before we know it, we start seeing our whole life through that lens. Gratitude changes that lens. It shifts your perspective from "Why is this happening to me?" to "What is this teaching me?" or "Thank you that I'm still here, still breathing, still fighting." It's not about ignoring the storm, it's about choosing to see the one who can calm it. I've learned that you can't be grateful and bitter at the same time. You can't hold gratitude and resentment in the same heart. One will push the other out. That's why gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a discipline. It's a daily choice. It's waking up in the morning and instead of scrolling through everybody else's life wishing you had more, you look around and say, "Thank you for what I already have." Because somebody woke up this morning praying for the very things you take for granted. Your health, your family, your job, your peace, your second chance. And here's the thing. Gratitude doesn't just change your attitude, it changes how you experience life. When something doesn't go your way, instead of getting angry, you start looking for the lesson. When people hurt you, instead of staying bitter, you're grateful that you learned who's truly meant to walk with you. When doors close, you're grateful because you trust that God is protecting you from something you can't see yet. Gratitude turns burdens into blessings, problems into possibilities, and delays into preparation. I'm not telling you this because it's easy. I'm telling you because it's necessary. There were moments in my life when I didn't have much to smile about. Moments when everything I planned fell apart right in front of me. But even in those moments, I found something to be grateful for, that I could still breathe, that I was still here, that God wasn't done with me yet. That gratitude didn't change my circumstance overnight, but it changed me, and that changed how I handled the circumstance. See, some people are waiting for life to get better before they start being grateful, but life gets better when you start being grateful. Not because everything suddenly becomes easy, but because you start noticing the beauty in the things you used to ignore. The laughter at the dinner table, the strength in your struggle, the peace in your soul even when the storm hasn't stopped. And when you live like that, when you train your heart to be grateful in all things, you start to see God in all things. So don't wait until everything is perfect. Don't wait until the storm passes. Start with what you have right now. Start with breath in your lungs, purpose in your pain, and hope in your heart. Because the moment you choose gratitude over complaining, life will never look the same again. Faith isn't just believing that God can do it. It's living like He will, even when you can't see how. A lot of people say they have faith, but what they really have is hope without action. Faith is different. Faith moves, faith works. Faith wakes you up in the morning with purpose, even when you don't have all the answers. Faith says, I may not know what tomorrow holds, but I know who holds tomorrow. It's more than words, more than feelings. It's a daily decision to trust, to show up, and to give your best even when you don't know what the outcome will be. Sometimes we want God to open doors, but we're not willing to walk down the hallway. We pray for success, but we don't want to go through the process. We ask for strength, but don't want to lift the weight of responsibility. Faith says, I'll do my part and trust God with the rest. It's not passive. It's not waiting around for something magical to happen. It's taking what you have, no matter how small, and putting it in God's hands. It's like planting a seed in the dirt. You don't see anything happen at first, but you keep watering it. You keep believing because you trust that growth is happening even when it's invisible. And let me tell you something, faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's not shouting, not singing, not standing on a stage. Sometimes it's quiet. It's a single mom going to work every day for her kids. It's a young man choosing to do the right thing when no one is watching. It's somebody forgiving when they're still hurting, choosing love over bitterness. That's faith, that's courage, that's choosing to act even when your feelings tell you to quit. But here's where we struggle. We want clarity before commitment. We want to see the whole path before we take a step. But faith doesn't work like that. God doesn't always show you the whole staircase. He gives you one step, and that step may not make sense. It may be uncomfortable. It may not look like progress. But if you trust Him, if you're willing to act on what you know instead of waiting on what you can see, He'll meet you there every single time. And yes, faith will cost you something. It might cost you comfort. It might cost you approval. It might cost you relationships, opportunities, or control. But it will never cost you more than it gives you. Faith gives peace in the middle of chaos. It gives strength in weakness. It gives purpose in pain. It takes ordinary people and uses them for extraordinary things. Not because they had all the answers, but because they were willing to say yes before they saw the results. You know what I learned, God doesn't bless laziness. He blesses faithfulness. He blesses consistency. He blesses the one who keeps showing up, keeps working, keeps believing, especially when it hurts, especially when it's slow, especially when no one is clapping for them. There is power in persistence, there is power in obedience, and when you combine that with faith, mountains move. So maybe right now you're in a season where you don't see any results. You're praying, you're working, you're giving your all, and nothing seems to be changing. Don't stop, don't quit. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. Faith doesn't always change your situation right away, but it will change you. It will give you the strength to keep going until the situation changes. And when you live like that, when faith becomes action, not just belief, everything about your life begins to shift. Peace replaces fear, purpose replaces confusion, and the same God who walked with you through the valley will lead you to the mountain. Because the moment you choose to act on your faith, not just talk about it, life will never look the same again. Purpose is a powerful thing. It's not about chasing comfort, applause, or success. It's about living in a way that makes your life mean something beyond just you. Most people wake up every day thinking about how to make life easier. But what if the point isn't to make life easier, but to make life meaningful? What if the real blessing isn't found in comfort, but in calling? When you understand that your life has a purpose, you start seeing everything differently. Your pain, your setbacks, your victories, even your failures. They're no longer random events. They're all connected to something bigger God is doing through you. There's a difference between living and existing. Existing is waking up, going through the motions, chasing a paycheck, chasing likes, chasing approval. Living is waking up with a sense of responsibility, understanding that your life can impact somebody else's life. When you start seeking purpose instead of comfort, you stop asking, what do I feel like doing? And start asking, what was I created to do? Comfort says, do what's easy. Purpose says, do what's right, even when it's hard. You know, purpose doesn't always show up wrapped in clarity. Sometimes it shows up as a problem you can't ignore, a burden on your heart, a pain that broke you but also woke you. That's how God works sometimes. He'll use the very thing you thought disqualified you to qualify you to help someone else. The injury, the heartbreak, the disappointment, the loss, it hurts, but it opens your eyes. You start to realize your story isn't just your story. There are people attached to your obedience, people attached to your survival, people waiting on you to be who God called you to be. And here's the truth. Purpose is not always glamorous. It's not always standing in front of a crowd. Sometimes it's serving someone who can't give you anything back. Sometimes it's forgiveness when you'd rather stay bitter. Sometimes it's loving people who don't love you the same way. That's purpose. It's sacrifice. It's humility. And it's powerful because that's the kind of life that leaves a mark long after you're gone. But to live with purpose, you've got to be willing to let go of comfort. You can't hold on to both. Purpose will take you out of your comfort zone. It will ask you to walk away from things that feel safe but don't serve your calling. It might cost you relationships, opportunities, popularity. But understand this, comfort can make you feel good, but it will never make you grow. Purpose might stretch you, but it will also elevate you. I've seen people chase success their whole lives and still feel empty. But I've never seen someone live in their purpose and feel worthless, because purpose fills you in a way success never could. Success is about what you gain. Purpose is about what you give. Success fades, purpose lives on, and the beautiful thing is, when you truly start living for something bigger than yourself, you stop needing everything to go your way. You stop needing everybody to understand you. You stop needing life to be perfect, because you know deep in your heart, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, so maybe your story didn't go how you planned. Maybe life knocked you down, but what if that wasn't the end? What if it was the beginning of the chapter where your pain becomes someone else's hope? Where your scars speak louder than your comfort ever could. That's purpose. And the moment you stop chasing comfort and start living for purpose, life will never look the same again.